Listen up, real estate investors, entrepreneurs, and agents. You're in the right place. Unlocking the secrets to real estate investing and entrepreneurship. Welcome to the Titanium Vault, hosted by RJ Bates III. Here's RJ.
Hey guys, welcome to the Titanium Vault. I'm your host, RJ Bates. Today I'm going to be going through a case study from a rehab project that we did here in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. Recently, if you're not a member on Facebook of our Facebook group, The Vault, please go join. We recently did a poll in The Vault just asking, what kind of guests do you want to see on future podcast episodes? And I just randomly threw in, as I was finishing the poll, I said, how about no guests? And we just do like a series of case studies, breaking down the numbers on deals on projects that we have actually done. And that was the overwhelming winner. So I think I'm going to do a series of these over the course of the next couple of weeks, just to break down some numbers. So let's just dive into the first one that we have for you guys. This was a flip project. I guess I use flip a little bit loosely there. This is more of a wholesale deal that we did, that we purchased from a wholesaler here in Dallas-Fort Worth, Vince Russell and his company. I believe it's Easy Sell DFW. Great guys. We've bought a couple of projects from them that we have successfully flipped. So love getting great projects from good wholesalers. This we purchased for $415,000. This is in North Ocean Hills, which is a smaller city in between Fort Worth and Dallas. That's actually a pretty high price point for North Ocean Hills, but it's in a great little subdivision inside North Ocean Hills, newer construction. Started building there in the late 90s, early 2000s. And just a great little neighborhood. I think it's highly sought after, usually low days on market in North Ocean Hills. So we took a chance on this because it had minimal rehab needs. Originally, we thought it didn't need anything in rehab. But that was us, not assuming the fact that these people had lived there for about a decade, and they had quite a bit of wall hangings and just some wear and tear on the walls and stuff. So we bought it for $415,000 purchase price. Vince, there was a $15,000 assignment fee, so he made $15,000. That was included in the $415,000. So he had it contracted for $400,000, and as the wholesaler, made $15,000. So I would assume that that's a good win for him. I would consider it a good victory on a project that didn't require a whole lot of work. Sometimes it's hard to add value as a wholesaler, so he did a good job of negotiating the price point and getting it at a good price for us. We did end up putting $10,000 worth of work. Like I said, we had to go in and do some drywall work, some paint. There was some pool work, landscaping, just small miscellaneous things that we had to go around and just kind of tidy up the property a little bit to try to maximize the value. We listed the property on the MLS for $500,000. One of the things that kind of really benefits our company here is that we do have our own internal brokerage. So on deals like this where we don't have to pay a listing agent a full commission, that does help us on, especially in this price point, because if you were to pay a realtor 3% on $500,000, as well as a buyer's agent 3%, you're ended up spending about $30,000 just on realtor fees. So on deals that are a little bit tighter, but a little bit less work involved, that really helps us and gives us more power on the buying side where we can take down projects like this. We took this project down with hard money. We used our favorite hard money lender here in the state of Texas, Easy Street Capital, based out of Austin, Texas. If you have not reached out to them, please do. Kelly Smith, Casey Denton, Great people there. There's a couple other, but I won't name the entire company, but those are great people. So reach out to Kelly Smith if you want to use Easy Street Capital. They gave us a loan on this for the purchase, and usually they give us about 90% of the rehab. And then we borrowed private money for the cash to close and some of the holding costs. Our private money lender had to bring $85,000 upon the purchase. And that included some of the early closing costs and holding costs. But the arrangement that we had with our private money lender on this is they would maintain paying any holding costs associated with that property while we had it, including the monthly interest, as well as insurance, electricity, utilities, things like that. So we listed this for $500,000. The first weekend, we had multiple showings. We had multiple second showings, and we received an offer for a full price, a normal 7-day inspection period. They were a conventional loan, had, pre-approval letter. They were bringing a solid amount of cash to close. It was pretty much a no-brainer, so we accepted. They then had an inspection done on the property and came back, requested some repairs. We could not see eye to eye on some of the repairs that they requested and terminated the contract, which if you've ever flipped a house before, that's quite possibly one of the worst things that you could do when you accept a contract is have them back out, because now you're dreaded back on market, right? And now every other realtor that's shown the property or is now going to call your realtor, your listing agent, and ask, what happened? Why did they back out? What's wrong with the property? What came up in the inspection report? And there was really nothing like abnormal that came up in the inspection report. It was just they wanted some things that we didn't see eye to eye on, and we didn't think it was going to progress to a termination. We just thought it was like normal negotiations, and their negotiation tactic was termination, and then it was game over. So at this point in time, the property sat on the market for several weeks and not really a whole lot of showings. And, we started contemplating doing a price drop. And of course, if you've ever sold a house before, a price drop is not really the best thing to do, because now, again, everybody that's coming along is kind of looking at you as like you're highly motivated. They don't necessarily have to give you what you're asking for. There must be something wrong with the property. Days on market were starting to inflate on us. So we started getting a little bit nervous. But on this particular property, we got an amazing phone call, which was a buyer who was not represented by another realtor that wanted to go take a look at the property because it was exactly what they needed. And what I mean by that is this property was probably 4,200 square feet, and it included a mother-in-law's quarter. And that's what they needed, because they needed to move in grandma and grandpa, who needed to now move in because they needed assistance. And so this was the perfect fit for them. So instead of actually downgrading their house, they were upgrading their house because they needed to move in. I think it was the wife's mom and dad. So they came and they walked the property. They liked it, and they said they would let us know. And then a couple days passed, and we didn't hear from them, so we followed up with them. The key is we followed up with them, and they said, yes, we're absolutely interested, but I think we want to bring our children by. I think they had 4 or 5 kids, and they came by the property to take a look at it and show their children. Some of them were older, some of them moved out. I think there was one of the kids was 18, 19 years old, which was actually moving back in with them. Everybody seemed to like the property, and it kind of awkwardly ended with, okay, we'll see you guys later. And we didn't know what was going to happen. So then Cassie followed up with them again, and they said, look, we love the house, but here's the deal. We would have to sell our current residence to be able to pay for this residence. and we don't even have our residence on the market, and there's things that we would like to fix up to the house so we could get full market value. So at that point in time, we saw a great opportunity, which was, what kind of rehab needs to be done to your property? And instead of you doing the rehab, what if we came in and offered on your current house so you could buy our rehab project? The house that you want, the house that you need. Let us solve your problem, which is purchase your existing residence. So we went and walked their property that they're currently living in. And, it was a really strange situation. They had actually kind of over-rehabbed the kitchen for the neighborhood. They had done a great job, just remodeled it, I think, within the past year. And it looked amazing. It had a beautiful pool in the backyard, great curb appeal, fit in with the neighborhood, great neighborhood in Fort Worth. The things that were wrong with it was, some of the paint, because they had lived there and they had their kids, and the flooring was mismatched in some of the areas. So they had put new tile in the kitchen, but the flooring between the living room and some of the formal dining rooms and the entryway didn't match. And then some carpet in some of the areas needed to be replaced. And they were really concerned about this, as would we be if we were selling it. But I looked at this as like, this is another easy rehab. So what we worked out is they really needed to net a specific amount from the sale of their house to be able to pay us the $500,000 to purchase our rehab project. So we worked it out to where we would purchase their home for exactly what they needed net off of it. So what that led to be is we purchased their existing residence for $236,000. We worked it out to where we could get the rehab done for $9,000, and then we could turn around and list that property for $289,000. Okay? Now the benefit and the reason why we want to do this is because, remember, we immediately listed this property that we had rehabbed. We had multiple showings, and we accepted what we thought was the best offer. But we missed out. We made a bad decision on that, and maybe we mishandled the negotiations during the inspection period or the option period here in Texas, and that buyer terminated. So now we went back on market. And when we went back on market, none of the previous buyers were interested. They'd either moved on or felt like, well, if the other buyer backed out, there must be something wrong with the project. So we sat on the market for a while. Now we have a buyer that comes along, still willing to pay us full price, but is also not represented by a realtor. So we're saving $15,000 in realtor fees just on this buyer. To solve their problem, we have to purchase a house at numbers that we would probably never ever purchase. $236,000, $9,000 in rehab, ARV's $289. But the benefit that we're getting on a rehab project, could we still take this property and make a small profit on it? $9,000 rehab's not a difficult rehab, so why not take the risk? So we did that. What we did is Easy Street Capital, again, loaned us on the purchase price of their new property on the 236. We actually got to give our private money lender on the first house all of his money back, but majority of it he got to keep. He rolled some of it back in on the second property. And by the way, private money lender on these, we're paying 20% annual interest on those. That's just a little kind of side note. We're willing to pay additional on those because of the relationship that we have with them, long-term lender on these, and also the ability. They're almost like not even like a lender, more of like a partner on these deals. So he was willing to roll his money back in on the second project. And we immediately listed this within, I think, 2 weeks. We had the rehab done. We listed it for $289,000. We had 22 showings within 24 hours. We had multiple offers, and we had one offer that was very aggressive. They had offered $289,000, and they were very aggressive about getting their offer accepted. We called them and we told them we had multiple offers, and they immediately said, okay, we'll up our offer to $301,000, which we immediately accepted. They ended up having an inspection done, and without requesting any repairs, terminated. They felt like the inspector told them the house had severe siding issues, and to replace the siding on this mainly brick house would cost $25,000. Not the inspector's place, but he did it anyways. Scared the buyers, they terminated. So now we're back in the exact same situation we were on the first house. Back on market, we're calling buyers, we're explaining what happened, and we're trying to get this property sold. Today, we're still back on market. We're still having multiple showings a day. We're expecting 2 offers to be received. Actually, I'm being shown that we're expected to receive 3 offers today. So hoping to get that one done. If we do get anywhere close to our asking price of $289,000, we'll end up netting about $20,000 on the second house. And on the first property, we end up netting about $40,000. So all in all, it ends up being a great deal. I told Vince jokingly that the property that he assigned to us and that we got is the gift that keeps on giving. It was a great project for us. Wish that first one wouldn't have fell out of escrow like it did. But that's the nature of what we do, and how you handle those situations and just kind of roll with the punches is very important. And so, we rolled that in. We were able to make a good profit on it. The second one, hopefully we'll be able to make a decent profit on it as well. These are easy rehabs, short time frames, not very time consuming. They're not the highest profit. They're not the greatest ROI from, that standpoint. But all in all, the main point is that they're easy and it's great consistent cash flow for us on the rehab side of things. So that's our first case study on a rehab project, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. We're going to keep rolling these out as, you guys, the listeners, have requested it. So if you like today's episode, please give us a review on iTunes or wherever you're listening. That helps us get our message out to more people, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks.
Thanks so much for listening to the Titanium Vault with your host, RJ Bates III. For more info and to stay up to date, visit www.podcast.thetitaniumvault.com and on facebook.com/The Titanium Vault. If you enjoyed the episode, please rate and review, and we'll catch you next time on the Titanium Vault.